Hey, welcome back to Papa's Custom Cars. Well, the power surge took another victim behind me. I'm not getting any power here. No matter what I turn on upstairs, the fan, nothing is turning on. So I'm thinking it spiked in here too and probably did some damage. Now, one of the nice things about electronics, and I don't care what the electricians and everybody says, you guys know this. Should you go to school to learn it? Oh yeah, because there's good money to be made, and this is one of the easiest things in the world to diagnose and fix. There are standards that all product has to follow, especially appliances, and that's what makes them probably one of the easiest things to work on if you've got a basic working knowledge of appliances. So I'm going to show you how I troubleshoot this thing to figure out what's going on with it, and maybe this will help you save a couple of bucks in the future, and or know that if the guy that's charging you is charging you right. The only thing you really need to diagnose it is that. So let's get to it. So it basically started with the whole power surge. There's a whole series on that went on. I was out of town for almost a month, and I was coming home on the weekends, and every time I would come home on the weekends I would try to figure out what was wrong with it. Gave up and took a lot of you guys' advice, thank you very much, and hired someone, because it got to be, I understand basic electronics contrary to what a lot of people say. No, I didn't go to school for it. My father taught me, who was a full-on skilled electrician. So he taught me a lot of what I know, and thanks to him, there's a lot of stuff that I know how to do, and electricity is one of them. Confidence in knowing what you're doing and then doing the research on doing it are two different things. In this particular case, I came down, I looked at it, I looked for the basics, and couldn't figure anything out. No matter what I turned that switch on the thermostat, this would not turn on at all. So I did a little bit of reading, did a little bit of YouTube watching, and found out the main things to check. For example, these all have a circuit board in them. Like, for example, my refrigerator went out one time, and come to find out there's a circuit board in it. I went down to Appliance Parts, bought the circuit board, I think it was for $124, and put it in and started working. I had a guy come out and quote me $400 for the board, plus another $200 in labor to swap the board out. It took 10 minutes. Unplug the board, the new board in, plug in, done. The same with this one. I'm hoping that with you guys we can figure out what's wrong, and I've already identified the first issue. So now, the whole electrical problem caused spikes. Really bizarre spikes, not just your normal spike. And that's because the common was doing one of these numbers all the time. If you touched it, it would connect. And the electrician came in and he figured it out. It took him about an hour. And he basically went back to the basics. And that's one of the things I'll always tell you guys is stop when you're getting frustrated like I was. And go back to your basics and follow whatever it is to the source of the problem. Electrical can be a nightmare if you don't know what you're doing. So pay attention and learn it before you start messing with it. With this particular one, I watched a lot of videos before I would even go in here and figure it out. And when you finally figure it out, you kick yourself in the head. So it's going to be one of two things. I came in and there's a transformer that converts 120 volts to 120 volts to 24 volts to run the circuit board. Now there's a little light bulb on the circuit board. It's a troubleshooting light bulb that tells you what's wrong. It's not even lit. So the first place I checked was I checked the transformer. Coming in, there's 120 volts. Going out, there's nothing. So that's what we're going to replace first, is this transformer, to see if that fixes it. Unfortunately, with everything the way it is set up in here, you're probably going to end up seeing a lot of my back. I'm going to try to get you a little bit better view by moving my cart and all kinds of stuff around to try to get an angle in here where you can see what I'm doing. But it's going to be hard because The transformer is on the side of the thing right here. So basically I'm going to do is take these two screws out. There are the blue and the red wire that go in, and then there's your white, your common and your hot that go on the other side of the transformer. Basically the new transformer they gave me down at Appliance Parts is good for up to 240 volts. So our red is still red, but our blue is now green. So on the board it says blue, we're going with green, which is perfectly fine. Because it's 240, it will accept multiple inputs. Because of that, we don't need these two, the red and the orange. We just have the black and the white, and they give you the nuts to basically cap them off and be done with them. Because we're not using them, I'm going to cut them a little bit shorter. We don't need them hanging out this long. I do need to put ends on these, and then we'll replace this. It's 2 screws and then the 4 plug-ins. We'll replace this and we'll go from there. So that's what we're going to do first. So here's our transformer. So we've got to pull it out. Now we've got a red and a blue, and then of course we've got our black, our hot, and our common coming out. Now I'm not going to unhook these wires until I get everything ready on the other one, but we're going to go ahead and pull this unit out. I've already got the power shut off. The breaker's already shut down, so we're good to pull this out. So let me get my wire nut driver that I just had 2 seconds ago. There it is. The easiest way to do this so you don't mess up is it only has the one at the top and it's on a hinge, so I would always leave the wires connected. Let me get some light in here real quick too. I always leave my wires connected, pull the breaker out, and that way she's ready to come loose. Put my screw down there. And that way I can put my new one in place and I don't have to worry about mixing up my wires. So you got black and white and blue and red. And like I said, in this particular case, our blue is replaced by green. So it'll confuse it a little bit. What's nice is these are labeled red and blue. So we know blue is now green. So we can pull those two off. You want to be careful about pulling out your power and everything until you're ready to go. Take pictures of everything. And that way you don't have to worry about mixing stuff up. So I am going to need ends on these because there are no ends. So let me take a look-see and see what types of ends we've got. Yeah, I've got those. So I'll be right back with those parts. So I've got the 4 connectors that I need. Put those right there. Got my wire crimpers and cutters, I should say. Like I said, we're going to cut these 2 back. We don't need them this long. I always cut them at different lengths. That way they don't run into each other at all. So we'll put nuts on those. On these, we're going to put our ends on them. They're already stripped and ready to go, so that makes it real easy. So we just put our end on. We crimp it. This one is just difficult to deal with. I need to go get a different one. This is fine for yeah, because I can't get it in there, so give me 1 second to get my other one. The other one is for the specialty plugs, so that solder melts in there and it starts to turn it brown. Okay, then the other 2 are going to be these 2. I'm going to have to go grab another connector though. Again, we're going to our red and our green. If you haven't used these ones with the solder in them, you really need to get them. These things are really, really good. And voila, that one's in place. And last but not least, we got this one, our green blue. place. Go this direction. Hopefully these are, yeah, they're good enough. Now what's nice about this is it just slides in place on the bottom. There's no screw holding it on, and then the top has the screw in it. Now, one of the bad things is this one is shorter, so we're gonna have to go with the screw it came with. Okay, let me go grab my drill because I'm gonna have to shoot in a sheet metal screw. I just happen to have my sheet metal bit. A better one because this one has been on it since time past, and Lord only knows who put it on there. Yeah, she doesn't want to. Probably because the tip of it is just trashed. Just a sec, I'll be right back with another screw. Sorry, I'm blocking you guys a little bit, but okay. And then our white, our common, goes down here. There's a whole bar, or whole group of commons down here, so that makes it real easy. There's our old one out of there. So our common goes down to our common part of the board, which is right there. Okay, and then of course our two stay capped off, which are right here out of the way. I'm kind of tucked up behind the board here. Then our red goes to our red. Red to our red. And then our other one is blue, which is now green. And our green goes to our blue. Okay. And it even tells us on the back here, if you're running 120, you're going to use white and black. 208, you're going to want white and red, white, black, and red, and then 240 is orange. So that kind of tells you how the whole thing lays out. So first thing we're going to do now is go ahead and power on. Now we've got a switch here. This switch actually makes it so that it won't activate when the door is open. We want to be able to check and make sure everything's hunky-dory. So let's grab a piece of electrical tape, put it over this door switch to simulate the door being on. Somebody was saying put a screw in there, but I'm not going to mess up my switch like that. And let's get our tools out of here real quick. We don't need this stuff anywhere we're going. Turn our power back on. Okay. And first thing I see is the flashing green light. So guess what? We're in business. Let me check the book, make sure the flashing green light is good. Oh, by the way, folks, here, let me back you up a little bit. On this note, that transformer cost me $35. I paid full retail price for it because I don't have an account set up there, but I probably could have got it from my normal supplier for half of that. But it being local, I know that it's covered under warranty. So we know our board's good because we've got a blinking green light. There are a bunch of, in the manual itself, it tells you what's going on. Turn the page. So I want to look up green flashing, green power. Module has power. Supply voltage is present at module terminals. So we are good. There is no flashing green, so yep, let's see, supply voltage is present, no red. It'll turn red, it'll turn yellow, whatever color that it has, if it has an issue. So I'm gonna go up, turn on the AC. Cross my fingers and hope it works. This is, by the way, this is the manual. I've got the manual for both of them. They came with it. I have it stuffed up there, way up away from heat and all that kind of fun stuff. So let's go turn it on. Let's see if she works. I'm going to go ahead and close it up too, so no point in having it open anymore. See, the minute I take the power switch off, the green light goes out. Put the power switch in, green light turns on. By the way, if the board would have been out, I did check while I was there picking up the transformer. The board is $329. Mind you, that's my cost. If you have someone come in and have to replace that board, you kind of do the same thing. You don't unplug anything. You take the board off, put the new board on, and then plug everything in. They did have that board in stock, which was kind of nice. That means this is a more modern unit. This unit isn't very old. But $329 for the board and $40 for the transformer is $380. That's probably 1/10 of the cost it will cost you to have someone come in here. You know, there's markup on parts. There's always markup on parts. There's the hourly labor for the technician to come out and fix it. So hopefully this takes care of it. We're going to find out in a minute. I'm going to go up. I'm going to turn on the AC unit and cross my fingers and hope it goes. But the spike in the power grid is probably, or the power here is probably what caused the whole thing. So let's turn on our power and see if we get air conditioning. You can probably hear it. It's on and it's working. Condenser outside turned on. Everything is running the way it's supposed to. So $40 and we're fixed. I had a service tech coming out because it's going to be 90 degrees out the next 3 or 4 days here in Utah. They couldn't get out till Monday night. So this $40 fix probably saved me a few $100s. Yeah, it's quick for them to diagnose, but I'm going to get charged at least 1 hour and at least for that transformer. So I've saved that money. This is how you can save money too. Go on YouTube if you're comfortable with this. Now, when it comes to the capacitors and all that kind of stuff, that stuff you need to be especially careful, and anybody that's doing the online tutorials is going to tell you there are things in here that can hurt you in the units. So, but basically that wraps up this video. My AC's back on. I have my air conditioning back in my garage. I'm going to be a happy camper because it's supposed to be 90 degrees, over 90 degrees the next few days. So I'll see you in the next one. Oh, and one of the nice things about air conditioning is I can work inside on the Nova.